This is the Medieval Town Square, LEGO's newest castle set that contains 3,300 plus pieces, 8 minifigs, and retails for $230 US. It is undoubtedly a fantastic build with lots of great pieces and, of course, has a great display value. And yet, when I built this set, I couldn't help but feel a little bit of disappointment creep in. Now, looking at some comments I've seen online, I know that I am not the only one that feels this way. So our review is going to lean on my 35 years of collecting LEGO Castle to determine why I felt that and to grapple with this tension between what could be a great set and disappointment, and at the end I'll determine whether or not this disappointment is warranted. For its price, you really get quite a lot in the town square. You get multiple buildings along with quite a few mini builds, including but not limited to a cart, cheese stand, tree, and woodworking machine. The structures themselves are unique builds, with the first actually being 3 buildings hinged together in the woodworker shop, the cheese factory, and the tapestry maker. The second structure combines a tavern with a shield painter's shop. The diversity of building techniques, colors used, and pieces keeps the build generally fresh, as there is limited repetition. There are 2 other broad advantages of this set overall. First, there are 2 instruction manuals allowing you to build together. One manual depicts the builds for the woodworker, cheese, tapestry buildings and its associated mini builds, while the other does the same for the tavern and shield shop structure. Not all the sets are as nicely divided in this regard, and we appreciate the strategic decision by LEGO. Second, there were fewer stickers than I anticipated. While some fans are disappointed that any stickers were included at all, the dozen or so included are tasteful and well done. In addition, there are a number of printed pieces, such as the ovoid Lion Knight shield and chessboard, that are nice additions to your accessory collection, especially since the shield is brand new and the chessboard is appearing for just the second time in a set. Moreover, some of the stickers contain some nice Easter eggs, such as the letters depicting seals from different factions, like the Black Falcons and Dragon Knights. And this leads me to the first tension in this set. There is undeniably a small but loud contingent of the online LEGO community that hates the use of any stickers in a set. And while I wish the shop signs were printed, I can't help but notice that other sets, even bigger than this one, like Rivendell, also contain stickers. In fact, given the relatively few stickers included in this set, I would say this criticism is not all that warranted, and quite honestly, the disappointment shouldn't be there because stickers were included. Large 18+ sets these days are jam-packed with details and stand out from the typical system sets. This set is no exception to that, as it contains not only a lot of details, but lots of great Easter eggs as well. Let's start with the woodworker cheese tapestry building. This might just be the first time LEGO has given us 3 buildings hinged together. This was a tricky task, but it was pulled off reasonably well. The tapestry shop is a fun build using a snot technique for the Tudor walls that is reminiscent of that used in the Lion Knight's castle, as well as both the cheese factory and tavern in this set. The dark red ingots used as shutters are relatively rare, appearing in a set for just the 5th time. Likewise, the thatched roof technique is also the same as part of the Lion Knight's castle and the tavern. Really though, a couple of details make this building notable. The fun vegetation outside, that includes a vegetable garden, flowers, and a beehive, the dark orange flooring and cloth rack on the inside, and the best part, this curved window within the thatched roof, which makes use of the clip and bar to achieve the curve. Of course, the tapestry itself is an excellent Easter egg depicting 2 sets from the 1978-1979 European Castle theme release, the iconic Yellow Castle and the Knight's Joust. These sets were re-released in the US in 1981 and were a great introduction to what would become my favorite LEGO theme. The woodworking shop, which is the first building to be constructed if you follow the instructions, is the narrowest of the 3. But don't let the plain look fool you, however. There's a lot to see here, including the wonderful awning, the relatively rare black barrel, effective winch system, clever ladder technique, and excellent roof technique that allows access to the 2nd level. One important note though, the woodworking shop levels are modular in concept, but you have to place the 2nd level the right way, or the cheese factory and tapestry shop won't fold in correctly. The Cheese Factory, though, is by far my favorite building of the three. The tan and reddish brown Tudor construction is classic and harkens back to the original medieval market village. The interior details are high level. The medium nougat and reddish brown chair is solid, the tables are full of cheese supplies, and there's a shelf up in the rafters, a lovely detailed stone floor, and this brand new door piece. The kitten and cream bucket interaction provides a whimsical touch, plus there's the lively outdoor pen where we can find the brand new dark blay goat and a squirrel. Like the woodworking shop, the roof is removable to provide greater access to the interior, and another underrated detail is that the windows are turned around to add a small ledge to the exterior. But this triumvirate of the building does bring some tension between disappointment and greatness. Check it out. None of these buildings stand alone on their own. In fact, there are gaps that allow you to walk through from each building to the next. If you pull them apart, there's an open wall for both the Cheese Factory and Tapestry shop, and the woodworking shop has two large gaps on the ground level, plus another in the second. Individually, both the Cheese Factory and woodworking shops could be closed off without too much of a problem, although the Tapestry shop is half a building on its own. That said, it has great potential if you were to double it, providing room for a small kitchen and possibly a bed in a loft. All told, the interconnectedness of the three buildings is a bit disappointing, but understandable. The shared walls allow LEGO to cut some costs in completing 4 or 5 four-walled structures, saving pieces and thus lowering the price point. This, though, is a significant trade-off and a slight knock on the set. The tavern and shield painting shop structure is a bit smaller in terms of footprint than this other building, but this one is a bit taller in height. Now, the original medieval market village also came with a tavern, but this one is much more detailed and textured. The number of curved elements introduced since 2009's medieval market village allows LEGO to provide much greater detailing than in the past. You can see this in the first level of the tavern, which utilizes 1x2 curved slopes along with 1x1 round plates with a hole in them to build the exterior lanterns. More nuanced slope pieces are used to create stone outcroppings and thus make the building experience more engaging and add visual appeal. Given some of the disappointment in the olive green exterior of the Natural History Museum, I can understand why some fans might not like the dark tan olive green combination here, although I don't mind it and Julia rather enjoys it. The use of brackets under the windows provides excellent detailing, and the pie cooling in the window is a nice touch. The interior has a lot going for it. The dark red 1x1 tiles on the floor, a barrel of ale on tap, a loot for their open mic Fridays, and a game of chess all make for a lively scene. The kitchen is on the second level and has a fireplace, some logs, a rack of utensils, a turkey, and a preparation table. The variety of protein sources is commendable, although I'm not sure where they got that lobster. Moving up to the third level, we find a cozy room with a nice bed, a small table, and a secret compartment where the tax collector can hide money. Does this mean LEGO is endorsing embezzlement? I'll let you decide. The roof is nearly identical to the thatched version in the Lion Knight's castle, using medium nougat claw pieces and dark tan angled bow slopes. The only real difference is the very top, which has some 2x-N plates topped with 1x1 modified tiles with a clip. The shield painting shop is equal in its charm, as there are loads of painting supplies, some blank shields, an anvil, and a small fireplace. The drops of paint on the ground are a fun detail. A narrow staircase provides access to the second level, which has a 2-stud wide brick-built door and a ladder that can be used to access an upper level of the guard tower. Again, there is a humble bed, small table, and some living supplies on the second level. The exterior of the shield painting shop is as close to the feel of the Lion Knight's castle as we get in this set. There are plenty of rocks and stones forming the base, a 5-wide tower that uses the same technique for arrow slits, and the rounded slopes atop the battlements are just like those in the Lion Knight's castle. Plus, we get the double corner slopes in light blay for the first time since the Lion Knight's castle back in 2022. The red and black Tudor styling harkens back to the old guarded inn from 1986, a nice Easter egg and comforting callback to the original golden age of LEGO Castle. Instead of using medium nougat claw pieces for the thatched roof, the tan and dark tan coloration is a welcome contrast to the darker colors of the walls. The small tree on the side of the shop is efficient in its use of pieces, and the small bird's nest hidden inside is a very, very cool detail to see. But there are some issues with the set that I didn't notice in the original pictures and only noticed when building it and studying it later on. In fact, these issues lead to, I think, some legitimate critiques of the set and its execution. In particular, the second levels do not align when you fold them together. The tavern kitchen floor is one plate lower than the corresponding floor of the shield painting shop. And check this out. Once you climb the steps to the second level, there's this hallway that runs you past the narrow door and right into the logs that are in the tavern kitchen. For a set so detailed, it's interesting to see these oversights. Also, there is no way to access the third level bedroom in the tavern. This, so far, is the biggest disappointment I've discussed, although there is a bigger one that I'm going to address in just a bit. The minifigs and accessories in this set are a bit of a mixed bag, especially as it relates to fan expectations. Now, there are 8 minifigs, which is about in line with other sets we've seen at this price point, such as the Eldorado Fortress, which has 9 minifigs and significantly fewer pieces for its $215 price tag. The 8 minifigs are enough to minimally populate our town square, but 1 to 2 more would certainly help make this community hub a lot livelier. Now, this critique isn't necessarily distinct to this set, rather more of a critique of where LEGO is at this point in 2024. That said, the minifigs we do get are quite good. There are a couple of torsos that share counterparts in the Lion Knight's castle, like the guard and one of the peasants, but the bulk of the minifigs are unique to the set and suitably civilian. And that's the point of the set. It's the first non-Ideas castle themed set to focus on civilians since the 2011 Mill Village raid. Now, in particular, the tax collector stands out as a suitably corrupt, wealthy villain, and the return of the wolf pack gives us the set's anti-hero. This Easter egg is my favorite of the set, and I hope LEGO finds a way to give us more wolf pack sets or minifigs in the future. The mini builds help fill out the set and add playability. The woodworking tool, log splitting rack, and food stand add depth. The tan chair is a nice Easter egg for the Lion Knight's castle chairs that appear in that set in reddish brown. The tree, though, is the weakest build of the lot. I'm not sure why it has these 4 spindly branches so close to the bottom, but the use of the dragon tail pieces is appreciated. In addition, the wanted sign for the wolf pack adds a bit of humor, as does the sign indicating goats are on sale. Perhaps the set's graphic designers anticipate the price of goats on Brickling dropping precipitously now that we have goats available in 2 current sets. Finally, the Beware of Old School LEGO Dragon sign made me chuckle and hope that we see some more Dragon Knights or Fright Knights in the future. The accessories in the medieval town square, I think, really bring to light the tension we have between disappointment and greatness. You undoubtedly get quite a few different things in terms of animals, foods, weapons, and accessories, but there are some pretty notable omissions. All of the food items, minifig utensils, bags, quills, letters, weapons, flowers, and all the animals are commendable. For the latter, we get bees, a frog, a squirrel, a redbird, a bluebird, a kitten, a bat that perhaps pays homage to the 1990s era Fright Nights, and the aforementioned goat. But what's missing? Well, fans would argue it's missing a second goat and a horse. The Mill Village raid, which until 2024 was the only set to feature the goat mold, came with 2 goats. While one of the new collectible minifigs includes a white goat, why not add a second to the set? Furthermore, the medieval town square comes with this cart right here that is not prepped for a horse to pull. It's more of a hand cart, even though it's a rather beefy object for somebody to pull. Now, I watched an interview with the set designer, and he argued that you could use a cow or a horse from the Lion Knight's castle, but my rejoinder would be, why do you have to supplement a $230 LEGO set with a $400 LEGO set? To me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not only that, it could make sense, and I think would make sense, if you took a horse and or a cow and added it to the set for another $10. If you have $230 to spend on a set, you probably could scrounge another $10 and you would pay $240. Even at that price point, if you added a horse, a cow, and maybe even a second goat, I think you'd still have quite a few people buy the set. I know I definitely would. Now that said, while that is a legitimate critique of the set, I don't think that really warrants a significant amount of disappointment. I think you could be slightly disappointed, but it should not dissuade you from buying this set. If you were going to get this set, if it had one more goat, I don't see any reason for you to not get this set. This is the part of the video where I give you my rating for this set. But before I do that, I want to articulate that what I found in terms of disappointment when I was building the set and shortly thereafter, and why I felt that way. The disappointment is based in the reality that LEGO sets are not released in a vacuum. If LEGO released this set by itself and there were no other castle sets ever produced, this would be absolutely epic. Fans would be going crazy. But that's not the reality of the situation. In fact, the reality is that LEGO set releases are contextualized by what was released before it. In the case of the Medieval Town Square, there were a couple sets recently released that I think add some heightened expectations, namely the Medieval Blacksmith Shop and the Lion Knight's Castle, both of which earned 10 out of 10 ratings from me and have earned a 4.7 and 4.8 rating out of 5 on Brickset. Once it was announced, the Medieval Town Square was always going to be compared to the Lion Knight's Castle. So despite the excellent use of pieces, the creative building techniques, and the return of the goat, it never quite packed the same punch as that initial high you get from seeing the Lion Knight's Castle. And indeed, in terms of execution, you can even see how this is a little bit inferior to that of the Lion Knight's Castle. Take a look at this building here, where at the shield paint shop, when you fold it in, it's at the second level is at a slightly different height than the tavern floor. This hallway right here, when you come up the steps, leads to effectively nowhere. Now, when you look at the Lion Knight's Castle, you can see that there are so many details, but everything is well thought out. Everything folds together so nicely, everything matches up and is well thought out, planned to a T, that in reality, this almost didn't stand a chance. We could almost find anything we wanted to that would be wrong with this set because it's just not quite the Lion Knight's Castle. In many ways, I actually compare this set to the Ninjago City docks. In fact, if you take a look at just the docks out of the context of Ninjago City and the other sets that came afterward, you would say that is a great set. And in fact, reviewers on Brickset would agree it's a 4.5 out of 5. But when you put it in that context, you couldn't help but feel disappointed putting it next to the majestic Ninjago City that just completely changed the way we looked at Ninjago and the possibilities for modular style buildings. Is this comparison really fair to the Medieval Town Square? Maybe, but let me assure you of this. If you're on the fence about the set and you have the money, I can guarantee you, you won't regret getting this set. It is going to be highly regarded now and especially after it's retired. So again, I have no regrets getting it, even after building it, even after thinking about this and compiling the ways in which I'm disappointed in the set. It still comes out at a pretty high rating. How high of a rating? Well, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. And in fact, talking with the rest of the family, there's general agreement that that is the fair rating for the set. Is it a 10 out of 10 like the Lion Knight's Castle or the Medieval Blacksmith Shop? No. But 9 out of 10, that's really good. And I highly recommend that you pick it up. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you like it, smash that button, and subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss any of our LEGO-related content, analyses, and custom builds. Before you head on out, why don't you watch this video over here? Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.